As Olivia Hart, the janitor's daughter, stepped into the impressive glass headquarters of a Fortune 500 company, all she sought was an opportunity. The CEO couldn't help but smirk when he caught wind of her last name. "This will be quick," he murmured to his board. Yet Olivia concealed a secret, one that took everyone in that room by surprise. In an instant, the laughter faded away. With her eyes wide open, her next move turned the whole company upside down. Before we dive in, please give this video a thumbs up and let us know your location in the comments. Your support enables us to share more impactful narratives. Let us comments. The front doors of Whitmore Technologies glided open with a gentle mechanical whisper as Olivia Hart entered. Her shoes, a bit scuffed yet polished with attention, clicked on the marble floor that seemed to extend infinitely in every direction. Her heart raced within her chest, not out of fear, but from the significance of every moment that had brought her to this point. Clad in a simple navy blue blazer and clutching a small leather folder, she appeared just like any other candidate. Yet she was not. With each step she approached the front desk, the recollection of mopping these same floors alongside her father, Gregory Hart, the unnoticed overnight janitor who was essential to everyone, resonated in her mind. She was intimately familiar with this building, aware of its corners, its imperfections and its hidden truths. The receptionist hardly glanced up. "What is your name?" she stated matter-of-factly, scanning the list with a steady hand. During the interview with Mr. Kingsley at 10:30, Olivia responded with composure. The woman hesitated, her gaze darting upward. A subtle smirk played at the edge of her lips, as if to convey, "You. Is that so?" Shortly thereafter, Olivia found herself on the 45th floor, a realm crafted from glass and cold steel, where the city skyline resembled a picturesque postcard. The interview room exuded grandeur, featuring oversized chairs and minimalist decor. At the far end sat CEO Barrett Kingsley, a formidable figure in his 60s, sporting a shark-like smile and slicked-back silver hair, as if he were still striving to make an impression. As Olivia stepped in, Barrett hardly looked at her resume before discarding it and asking, "Hart, any connection to Greg Hart?" Olivia adjusted her posture. "Indeed, he is my father." A laugh shattered the stillness, brash and self-assured. "Is it the janitor?" "Ah, that clarifies the choice of footwear. I trust you aren't anticipating any special treatment. This is not a philanthropic endeavor." The laughter of his board members was understated and courteous, yet it carried a hint of sharpness. That lingered uncomfortably. Olivia smiled effortlessly with a sense of tranquility. She had always anticipated this moment arriving. She dedicated years to her preparation, immersing herself in all the knowledge her father had imparted: blueprints, server systems, maintenance manuals. He neglected to clean up the trash. He upheld the essence of the building, and she had absorbed every detail. "I'm not here for any handouts," she stated. "I am here to resolve an issue beyond your reach." Barrett lifted an eyebrow, curiosity piqued yet still entertained. "And what could that possibly be, Miss Hart?" She leaned in, pulling down the zipper of her folder. "A data leak has been identified in your server integration system. Every 96 hours, you're experiencing a loss of proprietary data packets because of a concealed redundancy loop in your cloud syncing node." Silence enveloped the room. The IT director's gaze shot upward. "That is unfeasible. Our teams have been conducting investigations for months." Olivia gave a slight nod. "I'm aware. I assisted my father in identifying the problem from the basement. The design was flawed. Finding the solution is straightforward if you know where to search." Barrett's smile dimmed. He gazed at her, a wave of uncertainty washing over him. In that moment, it became clear to everyone present that the janitor's daughter had not arrived seeking employment. She arrived to transform it all. Barrett Kingsley reclined in his chair, his previously self-satisfied demeanor fading into an inscrutable mask. The room, once alive with muffled laughter and a sense of superiority, now lay enveloped in a silence, so profound it appeared to stifle even the gentle hum of the air conditioning. Olivia remained poised, her gaze fixed intently on him. She felt no fear. These faces were familiar to her. Each occasion she had joined her father at work post-school, each moment she had strolled past those same boardrooms with a mop in hand and a backpack draped over her shoulder, Barrett tapped his pen methodically against the table. You assert that you've uncovered a technical flaw that has resulted in millions in losses, and your source of information was janitorial access. Olivia remained utterly still, her gaze unwavering. My source was observation, pattern recognition, and logic. My father taught me the intricacies of systems from the very foundation. Quite literally, no one dares to gaze into the depths, yet that is where the essence resides. A robust figure situated at the far end of the table, Edmund Chase, the chief technology officer, cleared his throat. If her assessment holds true, we have been losing data through a repetitive cycle for almost 8 months. This could clarify the irregularities we have identified, but were unable to track down. He glanced over at Barrett. It merits exploration. Barrett paused, his pride teetering between skepticism and the dawning awareness that this young woman, initially seen as merely a formality, could indeed be correct. He gestured with his hand. All right, you have 5 minutes. Reveal it to us. Olivia advanced, revealing a meticulously crafted schematic she had sketched herself. The recent upgrade led to a rerouting of your sync node to enhance speed, yet the previous relay was not adequately decommissioned. A shadow path was formed that sometimes responds to high load cycles, resulting in a loop. It redirects data into the main system without any acknowledgement, resulting in it going unrecorded. Edmund leaned in, his gaze skimming the words with keen intensity. This is correct, he said, stunned. This is something I haven't encountered previously. She is entirely correct. Barrett's face flushed with color, his jaw clenched tightly. Why hasn't anyone on your team noticed this? Before Edmund could reply, Olivia interjected, saying they appear too elevated. At times, the solution lies hidden beneath the surface, much like in a basement, where my father and I discovered this problem after noticing a server's hum that was slightly out of tune. Barrett stood up from his seat. He ambled leisurely around the table and positioned himself directly in front of Olivia. What is it that you seek from this? Olivia's voice held a calm consistency. Silence prevails. I arrived here driven by the recognition of an issue, eager to find a solution. If I secure the position, fantastic. If I don't, at least I can take comfort in knowing I voiced my thoughts. Silence enveloped the room, as if time itself had paused, leaving everyone momentarily speechless. Gradually, each board member began to nod in agreement. I want her on my team, Edmund declared, effective immediately. Someone else quietly remarked that her instincts surpassed those of half our floor. Barrett lifted a hand, bringing the room to a hush. You believe you're quite sharp, he remarked. Do you really believe this will grant you access? Your actions have brought shame to everyone at this table. I ought to personally see you out. Yet, a change occurred. His gaze held on Olivia for an extended moment, deeper than it had in the past. Within them there was no trace of anger, just an emerging, hesitant respect. Take a seat, he finally said. I have more to say to you. Olivia settled into her seat with deliberate slowness, her heart racing, yet her expression remained composed and fearless. All gazes in the room were locked onto her. The thoughts of Barrett Kingsley remained a mystery, and that uncertainty was far more chilling than any outburst he could have unleashed. He moved around the table with a predatory grace, his quiet presence heightening the atmosphere of suspense. Olivia cast a quick look at the clock. 3 minutes had elapsed since she unveiled the vulnerability in the system. In that brief moment, her whole existence had shifted. Barrett finally spoke, his voice steady yet piercing enough to cut through steel. You didn't arrive here with a resume. Your credentials were not presented at the outset. You entered with proof and a dare. Such rarity can indeed render one formidable. Are you aware of your actions? Olivia gave a subtle nod. Indeed, I unveiled something that remained hidden from everyone else. That does not render me a threat. It gives me purpose. A subtle wave traversed the space. No one had addressed Barrett in such a manner before, at least not without facing repercussions. Nevertheless, he refrained from reacting with anger. Instead, he yanked a file from a drawer, thumped it onto the table and flipped it open. This document pertains to your father's employment history. 4 decades and 2 years dedicated to maintenance. No complaints whatsoever, always on time. Put in extra hours when teammates were unavailable. As top-level executives strode by, he diligently cleaned the floors, unnoticed and unacknowledged, blending into the background like a mere shadow. What held him back from seeking other opportunities? Olivia's gaze became gentle. He was committed to meaningful work, regardless of whether anyone noticed it. He often remarked that the true strength of a building lies not in its gleaming exterior. It is what remains firm at the foundation. Barrett fixed his gaze on her for a moment before his eyes fell to the ground. For an instant, a trace of humanity passed over his features. He then redirected his attention to the board members. What led to the oversight of this issue by everyone? What was it about a janitor's daughter that led her to step into our home and tidy up our chaos? There was no response. Edmund cleared his throat with a deliberate pause. We were examining the code. The machines were silent to our ears. Indeed, she did. That requires a unique set of talents. Barrett gave a slow nod. He turned to Olivia and said, "There's an engine in the basement level that has remained dormant since the blackout 2 years ago. No one could determine what had gone awry. It was a unique endeavor, innovative and exploratory. We put it aside since every leading engineer was unable to identify the issue. Could you please take a moment to review this?" The room inhaled sharply. That engine had lingered as a hushed legend in the corridors of the company, embodying an enigma of insurmountable defeat. Olivia inhaled deeply. "Access to the diagnostic logs is essential, and I require 1 hour of uninterrupted time with the unit." Barrett wore a sly grin. "All that you desire will be yours. Proceed immediately." "And Olivia," she paused at the threshold, "solving this means you're more than just an employee. You are creating a legacy." Upon leaving the boardroom, the hallway seemed transformed. The identical marble floors, the uniform glass walls, yet now each footfall resonated with fresh intent. She walked by the interns who had brushed her off just moments before. Their eyes were now wide, tracking her as if she were an unexpected tempest on the horizon. In the depths of the basement, Olivia stepped into the mechanical bay. The steady thrum of power generators welcomed her, as if it were a familiar companion. She knelt beside the engine, gently sweeping away the dust, and murmured, "Let us uncover your heartbeat." She carefully opened the panel, wires frayed, resembling tangled nerves. A solitary, miscalibrated capacitor flickered unpredictably. In mere moments, she pinpointed a heatsink mismatch, a grounding error, and a bypass circuit that funneled power into oblivion. She grasped her toolkit, her hands darting with a speed that outpaced her thoughts. The atmosphere grew heavy with expectation. She was engaged in more than merely repairing a machine. She was crafting a new narrative. The basement resonated with a symphony of mechanical hums as Olivia navigated the dormant engine, much like a maestro readying an orchestra for a grand performance. Dust danced in the gentle embrace of the warm yellow glow from the overhead lights. The sound of her father's voice echoed in her mind, soothing and unwavering. Devices communicate when you tune in properly. She absorbed the sounds around her, tuning in not only with her ears, but also with her intuition. Each pulse of electricity, each soft murmur of a capacitor revealed a narrative that remained unnoticed by others. She scrutinized the imperfect capacitor once more, observing the uneven pulse. It was charged too much, but not due to an overload of input. The issue lay within the routing of the circuit. A glitch in the motherboard's firmware was interfering with the thermal regulator, leading the engine to shut down due to its own safety protocol. The oversight had persisted for 2 years, unnoticed, by the company's leading engineers, yet Olivia identified it in mere minutes. She linked a portable diagnostic tool, uniquely crafted by her father from vintage NASA surplus materials. The device emitted 3 distinct beeps, followed by a sequence of numbers that validated her intuition. She smiled faintly, her heart racing. "All this time you've been seeking to shield yourself," she murmured to the device. "You are whole. You are cautioning them." She meticulously revised the firmware code, word by word. Her fingers danced swiftly and precisely. Every keystroke resonated, like a hammer striking against a barrier that many had resigned themselves to. She skillfully navigated the flawed circuit, adjusted the current pathway, and fortified the foundation with a makeshift stabilizer crafted from salvaged components in her toolkit. As she pressed the last command, the engine lights began to illuminate, each flickering to life in succession. A low, steady rumble began to emanate from the machine. The engine roared to life. A sudden gust from the cooling fan swept her hair back as she took a step away, her eyes filled with astonishment. The mechanical bay, dormant for 2 years, now hummed with the energy of a creature stirring from slumber. The tremor coursed through her footwear and resonated within her very bones. She experienced it not merely as a remedy, but as a victory. Without warning, the door behind her burst open. Barrett Kingsley stepped in, accompanied by a pair of engineers and a cameraman. His gaze swept across the room, settling on the engine now humming with power, its diagnostics glowing green all around. Barrett moved forward with deliberate slowness. "Are you saying it is operational?" Olivia gave a subtle nod. It was never in need of reconstruction. It required comprehension. Logan Madsen, the chief engineer, advanced, scrutinizing the readings. His jaw fell open in disbelief. This ought to be impossible. I dedicated 4 months to this place. I dismantled it and reconstructed it from the very foundation. This has always eluded me. Olivia presented him with the altered diagnostic scanner. Your interpretation was influenced by an incorrect frequency. It is not about dismantling things. It revolves around truly hearing their message. Barrett gazed at her as if he had stumbled upon an extraordinary revelation. "What is your age?" She stated, 21. He chuckled gently, a slight shake of his head accompanying the sound. "At 21, you've embarked on reviving a prototype system crafted by individuals with advanced degrees. That engine set us back $7 million over 2 years of public humiliation, and you resolved it in less than an hour." Olivia stood confidently, her voice steady. Perhaps it's time to shift the focus from evaluating intelligence through degrees to assessing it based on outcomes. Barrett glanced over at the cameraman. "Did you understand that?" The gentleman inclined, his head in acknowledgement. With each word, Barrett confronted Olivia once more. "Ascend to the upper level. I would like you to stand beside me as we make this announcement." As they exited the basement, the silence that had defined Olivia's existence was supplanted by an entirely unfamiliar sound: honor. Not the type given due to riches or influence, but the kind acquired piece by piece through determination and insight. She had moved beyond being just the janitor's daughter. She was an unexpected force, a revelation that took the world by surprise. The announcement was unprecedented for Barrett Kingsley's company. The expansive conference room, filled with journalists, stakeholders, and technical experts, hummed with excitement. Olivia stood silently next to Barrett, her heart racing like the engine she had just brought back to life. All eyes in the room were fixed on her, the janitor's daughter who had just transformed the story. Barrett cleared his throat, effortlessly, capturing the room's attention with his commanding presence. "Esteemed colleagues, today signifies a pivotal moment for our organization, a transformative step that will reshape our approach to creativity and progress." His gaze met Olivia's, unwavering and dignified. "This remarkable young woman has not only accomplished what we thought was beyond reach, but she has also shown us the essence of genuine talent." The audience burst into cheers. Flashes of light erupted from the cameras. Every word was meticulously recorded by the microphones. Olivia's expression was serene, yet within her a tempest of feelings raged. Validation, relief, and a newfound confidence that softly suggested, "This is just the start." Barrett announced that Olivia Parker will be joining our engineering team in the role of lead innovation specialist. She will embody our new initiative to embrace fresh perspectives and liberate ourselves from conventional limitations. He took a moment, allowing the gravity of his words to resonate. Her narrative embodies resilience, insight, and the bravery to heed one's inner voice. As reporters eagerly raised their hands, each one vying for a chance to pose their questions, Olivia remained resolute. Her thoughts were sharp and unwavering. She had demonstrated her skills in the engine bay. The true test was about to begin. She was acutely aware that the world would be observing, scrutinizing each action, each choice. As the evening wore on and the conference room began to clear, Barrett made his way over to Olivia. "You conducted yourself admirably." His voice carried a quiet sincerity. "Challenges, demands, and hurdles will arise, yet I am confident in your ability to overcome them." Olivia held his gaze, steadfast and resolute. "Thanks a lot. I have journeyed too far to become a mere undertaking for someone else. I am here to revolutionize the landscape." Barrett's lips curled into a smile, an uncommon display from the tough-as-nails CEO. "Excellent, as this company will require that level of passion." Time slipped away. Olivia found herself swept away in a flurry of meetings, creative discussions, and late-night challenges to overcome. Her concepts pushed against conventional boundaries, occasionally causing discomfort among experienced engineers. Nevertheless, her outcomes resonated more powerfully than doubt. The engine prototype she repaired evolved into the foundation for a groundbreaking series of sustainable energy machines ready to transform the market. However, not all embraced the transformation. Soft murmurs of uncertainty floated through the boardroom as leaders grappled with the fear of relinquishing their grip. Olivia observed quiet dismissals and casual remarks that cast doubt on her origins. Every moment challenged her determination, yet she embraced it fully. Each slight transformed into motivation, every doubt a catalyst for greater effort. One afternoon, in a charged boardroom meeting, Barrett faced the opposition directly. This organization is dedicated to pushing the boundaries of creativity. If trepidation towards transformation is obstructing progress, then those who hold tightly to bygone days are unwelcome here. The atmosphere grew still. Olivia felt a gentle surge of victory within her. She had shed the identity of the janitor's daughter lurking in the shadows. She ignited change, shining brightly for those who have the courage to envision a world without boundaries. As the company advanced, driven by her vision, one undeniable truth emerged. Occasionally, the most remarkable discoveries arise from the least anticipated sources. The daughter of the janitor had transformed the course of destiny.